but Frankie loves being on the radio. And so he said, hey, why don't we have a weekly segment?
All
And
right.
that'll just be Fidler on the Loose.
Fidler on the Loose on a Wednesday. I love it.
Frankie Fidler joins us now, the junior sensation for the Omaha men's basketball team, the pride of Bellevue West, and my best friend. How you doing?
Man, we're such good friends, Gary. Every time we're on a road trip and I hop on that bus and I see you, it just brightens my day.
Frankie, do you guys watch movies together on the bus? Do you guys spend a lot of time together?
I feel like Gary wants to spend more time than we do, but I have to stay locked in.
Whoa! So Gary's a nuisance?
Sometimes I catch him staring at me for no reason. I'm like, come on, Gary, face forward.
Hey, that's because I end up in. Am I the most popular person in your Snapchats?
I do not have you on Snapchat, Gary.
But I end up in a lot of pictures that you put on Snapchat.
Oh, that's true. I just think, you're just a friend, so
okay.
My friends, I get to see you with me.
Oh, that's nice.
Sweet.
Sweet. Okay, so you don't like. So this is going to be difficult because you're having a hell of a season, and you don't like me bringing it up. I told you on Saturday. I said today would be a nice day to have a 30 burger, and you went out and looking at the box score, you had 31. So I'm calling it. But in all honesty, and you and I have known each other for a long time, and we've been together for 3 years. You're having a heck of a year. Why are what has led to you being so successful through the 23 games so far that you're averaging 19.1 a game?
One thing definitely is from my work this off season. Not just on the court, but in the weight room as well with Coach Rayan. I think I put a lot of emphasis on getting my body stronger and getting quicker this off season, which has helped me a lot. And then I think on the court, really, I was able to kind of change my mentality, especially going into games. Like you said, you've told me a few times, to get a point mark, and I'm always like, I don't think about that, and that's kind of my mindset going into games is not really think about offensively or defensively, just kind of going in with a blank mind and being in the moment of the game, and I think that's helped me a lot this year.
You've hit big shots from your time in a Maverick uniform, even going back to when you were at Bellevue West. You were on Sports Center for Scott Van Pelt's Bad Beats as well. You've had a lot of people know the name Frankie Fidler. This kind of goes to that mentality you're talking about, though. When you do get on the floor now with what you're capable of doing and with this team, what is that approach? I mean, and it's not cockiness, but is there that feeling that you're one of the best players, if not the best player on the floor? I mean, does that cross your mind that you take that as a challenge to play like that every night?
Yeah, it's for sure in my mind. Since probably junior year at Bellevue West, I've been a really confident person, and I think going into the game, like actually right before when the national anthem's playing, I close my eyes and kind of just think back on what's got me to where I am today, and tell myself, trust your game, trust the work you put in. You're one of the best players on the court. So, I remind myself that before games, and I truly do believe it, at the start of the game and throughout the whole game.
Frankie Fidler for the Omaha men's basketball team joining us. Omaha tomorrow night, their lone game of the week. It's a monster game against St. Thomas over at Baxter Arena. So, I know the answer to this, but I want you to share it with our listeners. The conference season opens, disappointing loss against Denver. We're up at halftime, and then they blitzed us in the second half, lost by 15. This team feels different since then. 4-4 through the first half of the conference season. Got a huge win on Saturday at Denver. What's different about this team that has allowed you to do what you are doing and also allows you guys to dream that as you make progress and get to Sioux Falls, the ultimate goal that I know that you have is to take Omaha to the NCAA tournament is still realistic.
Yeah, I think ever since that game, we kind of bought in more to having one collective goal as a group, and Coach Crutch has done a great job telling us like we got all the pieces and we have everyone we need to be one of the top teams in the summit this year. And I think ever since that game, we've really all bought into that and believe that we're one of the top teams. And individual plays stepped up a lot too. Nick Davis has come along real well ever since that game, and especially defensively, which we needed from him. So, and then JJ White embracing the point guard role. Markel Sutton's been stepping up big time for us, hitting shots, playing really good defense on mostly every of the opposing team's good players. So, and then Tony, hitting shots. So I think Crutch kind of instilled confidence in us that we can be that good team, and we all started to believe it.
Yeah, and Frankie, I'm glad you brought up Crutch because I want to kind of get into the culture there. Look, we know when you're at the game that you are at right now and your level of play, look, there are people that can always pull you in different directions. When you think of why Omaha is a great place for you and why this coaching staff has also been a big part of that growth in your game, what is it about Crutch, this coaching staff, and just the overall culture that you're the most attracted to?
Yeah, I think, if you look down the whole coaching staff, everyone's won in their playing career and their coaching career. So I think to have that as a coach is big. And then, all of them are good guys, and they really want to see everyone succeed, not only on the court, but off the court as well. So I think, they just do a great job and maximizing everyone's potential and speaking and for Crutch, I think just the long list of guys that he's coached
Mm-hmm.
and how many good players he's brought out is just a big thing to me. And I'm really happy that I get to play for him and the whole coaching staff.
So one of the things that happened on Saturday, this, outside of just a pure rout of Denver and you being able to shut down the number 2 scorer in college basketball or the number 1 scorer in college basketball and Tommy Bruner, is as you continue to lead this team to victories, you're racking up points. And so you pass Bob Mackey, who everybody in this community knows Bob Mackey. You go over to Ralston Keno, on Saturday morning, you're going to see Bob there. But it's kind of unique because Bob was a great basketball player at Omaha, great in the basketball community, still comes to games at the age of 90. But his grandson, Mike, coached you at the factory during AAU. So you're now, what are you, 16th in scoring? I know you probably don't know off the top of your head. All honesty, Frankie, Dean the Dream is one of the most prolific the basketball players in the history of Omaha basketball. He's the leading scorer. He was a legend here. Do you think about what it would mean to be the all-time leading scorer at Omaha?
Oh, I for sure do. I don't like to think about it a lot because, especially during the season, I don't want my focus to trying to reach an individual goal. But it crossed my mind, and I really that's what I want, and I really would be grateful if I can reach that accomplishment and be the all-time leading scorer.
We are now in our last day of January. So when you guys hit the floor tomorrow night, it's February, and we were just talking about this earlier, how you start to take on that look of the team that you're going to be if you're going to be in meaningful postseason. Frankie, how close do you think you guys are right now? And what maybe, if anything, sort of is left to kind of fix, tighten up, or however you want to call it, to be that team that is going to be having a legitimate shot to get to the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I think we've shown flashes of what team we can really be, especially in Denver, a little bit against Northern Arizona. So I think we've definitely shown. I think now it's just all up to us being consistent and I think really if we come into every game left on our schedule with the mindset we did at Denver, then that team's going to show up every night, and that's the team we want to show up every night, and that's the team that will lead us to victory and hopefully a long postseason run.
Hey, let me ask you this. This is the part of the student athlete playing at Omaha and playing at the level that you do, and you have a good relationship with the NIL collective for Omaha Athletics, Omaha Bull Market. What's that like, being a student athlete, having to navigate the world of, first of all, going to school to get your degree, playing basketball, and then the NIL portion of what you do at Omaha? What's that like?
Yeah, it was definitely different though before Aaron Whaley and the Omaha Bull Market came along, because a lot of stuff was trying to get figured out by yourselves. But the Omaha Bull Market's been huge for all the Omaha athletics, kind of just bringing in NIL deals and the student athlete not really having to worry about it. But for me, it hasn't been that hard to balance all three of those because of them. And I only take one in-person class, so I'm not all that busy on campus. But yeah, it's not that bad balancing all three of them.
Is that
Wait a minute? How many online classes you got?
4.
Okay.
All right.
Is that NIL world, especially at Omaha? I mean, do you kind of get an opportunity to collaborate with some of the other student athletes too? I mean, is that kind of a nice little addition on top of being able to earn off your name, image, likeness, but also I'm assuming getting to collaborate with other student athletes, be around other student athletes in different sports?
Yeah, for sure. Especially with the bowl market, they kind of bring 3 or 4 teams together at once. So yeah, for sure.
Hey, now let's have a little fun here, because while you're playing tomorrow night in a key game against St. Thomas, your good buddy, one of your best friends, running mate, Chucky Hepburn, will be down in Lincoln going for Wisconsin. Give us a good story or two about your relationship with Chucky. I rattled off, Frankie, the championship game against Millard North, the amount of talent that was on the floor, that was playing on your side for Bellevue West, and of course Millard North. You guys won that state championship. What's your favorite memories of you playing with Chucky, what you guys did at Bellevue West, and of course the legend Doug Woodard?
Yeah. One of my favorite memories is probably that semifinal game before the Millard North game, against Creighton Prep. It went into triple overtime, and I think, to me, that was a better game. Well, for me, that was a better game than the Millard North game, just because, 1, I played better, and 2, we won. But yeah, just I played with Chucky since I think it was 2nd or 3rd grade, so we've always had a close relationship. Always, I was always over at his house after games and stuff. But I think just being on the court with him was always, it was really crazy, because he's one of the best point guards I've ever played with, and just the way he can find me in my spots and find other people is actually, crazy. But yeah, I think that prep game, because that's high school, that's crazy. But Creighton Prep, I think it was in the 2nd overtime, we were down like 5, and I always joke about this with Luke Jungers, but Chucky went and trapped Luke Jungers right across half court, and Luke basically just gave it to him. I'm like, come on. I was like, wow. But Chucky went down, and I think he passed it to Greg Brown for a layup. And that whole game was just crazy. There was a point in that game where I didn't think we were gonna be able to pull it off, but with the steals and the missing free throws, we were definitely we were able to.
Oh, that was fantastic, and I do remember. I think it was in the 3rd overtime. You hit an NBA 3. That's when I said.
Yep.
That's when I said, you know what? I think this guy might be okay at Omaha. Hey,
Frankie, real quickly too, just because I always find it interesting, and he just retired, and Doug Gary brought him up, and I want to know when you were a freshman, because I remember covering him a long time ago when they kind of got that powerhouse started with some of those early teams that, even fell short in the state championship game. The amount of conditioning that I know Doug was so proud and that team had, but I always wondered how those guys would respond early on when you first set foot in the Thunderdome, or you're first just kind of getting acquainted to Bellevue West basketball. What is that like when you're kind of putting your body through that? Is that intimidating, or was there just such a reputation that you knew exactly what to expect when you were walking into that gym and playing for that coach?
I really didn't. Funny thing is, I was supposed to go to Bellevue East up until like eighth grade fall, but then I moved into Bellevue West District. So, but no, it was definitely intimidating. I think because you knew the winning culture they had, and you were unfamiliar with how that winning culture was brought about. But I think I wanted to be a part of it, so I took it on with my full heart, and I'm so glad I was able to be coached by Coach Woodard.
Hey.
But funny thing is, freshman year, I was actually on freshman A team with Coach Hepburn, Chucky's dad.
Yeah.
And we practiced at 5:30 a.m. every morning.
Oh.
And that was probably the hardest thing in my life, but I didn't miss one practice. So
wow. Good for you, man. That's when we're going
Good
to
on
work.
you. Hey, congratulations on the start so far this year. I know it's a long way from being done, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow night. Thank you, my friend.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
That's Frankie Fidler, averaging 19.1 points per game. He's one of the top free throw shooters in the country. He's a career 88% free throw shooter. So Dean Thompson is the all-time leading scorer at Omaha. Dean right now is at 8, and it's not like Dean's going to add to his point total.